All right. Hello and welcome to today's episode where we're going to talk about meditation and OCD and anxiety recovery. And I want to really dive into this topic and discuss some practical thoughts on what I believe the benefits of meditation are, but also how I believe it can be used incorrectly to some extent. And I want to talk about really how I think it should be used, and if you're really using it with the intention of helping it with your recovery of OCD and anxiety in your life, or just your mental well-being in general. So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Matt Codde, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker and the founder of Restored Minds. If you're looking for help and guidance on your journey to recovery, I have some links down in the notes with some great stuff for you to get started. We do a free weekly coaching letter that I put out just for the members. And so, be sure to take access to that. Also have free guides as well as my book and additional resources. You can also apply to work with me and my team directly in our program called Taking Back Control. So with that, also, if you benefit from the show, please help us out by liking, subscribing, and leaving a nice review on iTunes or Spotify. So let's go ahead and dive in today. So meditation. Now, meditation has become more and more increasing popular in the West. Obviously, it's not a new thing. And a lot of people talk about the benefits for OCD and anxiety. A lot of people have a practice that they develop to help them with their recovery. And I want to just really share my thoughts on it. So, for a period of my life, I was an avid meditator. I would meditate for that kind of 10 to 15 minute time frame. So it wasn't like deep long periods of meditation. I haven't done any advanced practices like silent retreats or anything like that. So I want to qualify this in saying that, like, I'm not by any means the end all be all expert on meditation, because I'm not. I totally believe meditation can be beneficial, but I think it can also be something that potentially uh, can stifle your recovery, and I want to kind of explain my thoughts on why and how. So meditation, when used, I think correctly, or in the correct context, can be very beneficial for OCD and anxiety when we're talking about using it from the place of developing consciousness. And what I mean by that is when you understand this idea that consciousness exists and this awareness, this presence exists, and you are aware of the mind and you're aware of your emotions and you're able to begin to separate the two and actually sit in the state of consciousness and be able to observe your thoughts, observe your feelings. 100%, like the benefit of meditation as a practice of distancing yourself from your mind, distancing yourself from your emotion, non-judgmental observance, all of that is radically helpful. Radically helpful. Very much encourage it. In my program, actually, I have a 31-day meditation program just for OCD and anxiety. So I'm in no way against meditation, and I want to be very transparent about that. Um, what I have found with a lot of my clients, and even myself early on, what most people try to do with meditation is they try to use meditation for what they want it to do. So they try to meditate to get rid of the thoughts they don't want. They try to meditate to get rid of the feelings they don't want. They try to meditate to change the disturbance in their mind or the disturbance in their body, right? They try to use it to get an outcome. And I don't believe that's the best use case for it. And a lot of people, what they'll do is they find a certain sense of solace by going and focusing on their breath and focusing on their breathing and maybe taking a 10 to 15 minute exercise and really doing a guided meditation, because it gives them an area of focus that then removes their attention briefly from whatever their inner disturbance is, whether it's a bunch of emotion, whether it's a racing mind, intrusive thoughts, all of that stuff. So they use meditation in a in their intended way to ultimately alter their experience. Generally by placing their awareness on something, so they can do a real central focused meditation, right? So just like stare at a plant, or they maybe put their feet on the ground and really focus on the feet on the ground, and they are able to place all their awareness and attention and energy on an item or on their breathing. And what it does is it serves to distract them from this stuff that's already going on. And because they're able to achieve some level of distraction, they perceive that meditation was very beneficial for them. And in fact, they get very drawn to doing meditation because they find a certain sense of solace and peace while they're doing it. But I don't think that using meditation in that context is helpful for the long term, because you're still not confronting the stuff that's just disturbing you on a constant basis. So if you're having ongoing anxiety throughout the day, you don't meditate to get rid of that. You don't meditate to avoid that. In my opinion, you don't meditate to run from that, to hide from that, to take solace from that. The best use case that I've discovered for meditation is the development of consciousness, and the idea of practicing sitting in a state of non-judgmental awareness towards thoughts, towards feelings, and towards whatever's going on in your life, and just realize that it's just stuff that's going on. See, the trying to use meditation to achieve an outcome, I think, really prevents you from achieving the higher benefits you can achieve from it. And what happens a lot with, again, OCD and anxiety is, I think people use it and they do these guided meditations to hide from and avoid and try to remove. That intentionality, I think, works paradoxically, because then you look forward to meditation because it can ultimately become a compulsion. It's a place where you find your avoidance or your escapism. And the best use case that I comprehend and that I know about meditation is not to use it to try to distract yourself from what you don't want to experience. It's actually to cultivate staying in the presence and awareness of consciousness, and truly confronting and observing and allowing the mind to do whatever it's doing, allowing your feelings in your body to feel however they feel. Really, again, not trying to change anything. And when you're using meditation to cultivate consciousness and to practice consciousness and to develop that sense, it is an amazing practice. Something that I absolutely encourage, and in fact, something I teach, right? And one of the things is that I also, when we're talking about emotional releases, you need to first have that sense of awareness developed before we're going to talk about learning to confront and release emotion in the body. But when you're using it as a distraction, or you're using it as something that to avoid your experience, and you gain a sense of relief from doing it, the problem is that it can ultimately become a compulsion. And I think a large majority of people who struggle with OCD and anxiety use it in the latter sense as opposed to the former. And that's why I think that it can become counterproductive if people are doing things like, hey, I'm going to do my 30-minute meditation because it's the only time of day that I can escape all this inner world that's going on. And then it ultimately is used not in a way that is going to be constructive for the long-term recovery. And so those are my thoughts on meditation, and I just wanted to talk about it today because I get some questions about it, and I wanted to share how I actually think it should be used in one's recovery when it comes to OCD and anxiety. So with that, I hope this was helpful. Hope you have a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Hey there. So if you enjoyed that video, we've linked up a few more videos that we think you'd find helpful as well. And if you have found this helpful, we'd really appreciate your support by liking and subscribing. And if you're looking for help and guidance, please check out restoredminds.com, as we have several options for you to get started. See you guys soon.